Okay, so the first pattern, the first fundamental trick that you're going to learn for 3-ball juggling is 3-ball cascade. And it looks like this. Pretty simple, kind of a nice smooth trick. And if you're anything like I was when I started juggling, this is what you think of when someone says the word juggle. In fact, if you're anything like I was, you might think this is the only trick that there is to juggling, which kind of makes the activity seem uninspired, but there are plenty. Some beginners, when I start trying to teach them this trick, they have a tendency or an instinct to try and do basically a 3-ball shower, which is going to cause them a lot of pain and suffering. So don't do this. This is what a shower looks like. And you'll notice it's much more difficult than a cascade because of the fact that you have to throw 2 balls simultaneously and you're throwing directly to a hand. It feels great when you can get it. It's got this nice snapping motion, but I've been juggling for over a year and I still practice that move like 20 minutes a day because it's incredibly difficult to get clean. So don't do that. The nice thing about a shower is that you're always throwing up and over, which gives you plenty of time to prepare to catch. And it's nice and smooth, not too complicated. So when you start learning this trick, if you're really nervous and really uncoordinated, you can start with just 1 ball and start practicing your arcs. I recommend starting with 2 balls, but on each toss, you're going to throw from one hand to the other, and the ball should peak at about eye height. And frankly, I would say if you're throwing from the right, you want the ball to peak on your left eye. From the left, you want it to peak in front of your right eye, or maybe above that shoulder, though I think that's a little bit wide. I like to throw mine a little bit high. And when you're doing these tosses, you want to keep your hands at about hip height, maybe even lower, frankly. I tend to keep my hands higher than is recommended. I think it's because my shoulders are a little stiff. Anyways, start with 2 balls if you feel comfortable enough to do that. And there is a nice rhythm to this. Bum, bum. Bum. And what you're going to do is when this ball peaks here in front of your left eye, assuming you're right hand dominant, the moment that 1 ball peaks, that's when you're going to do the next toss. So right there, right there, right there, right there. And again, you're going to hear this bump, bump. You always want to hear that pattern. When you're not too solid with the trick and you're throwing a little too high and too short, it might sound a little shorter, or it might be. But you want the tosses to be nice and even height, and when they are, you're going to hear. So if the visual part of the trick is not helping you correct, then try and feel the trick out through sound. The proper rhythm to each toss. So again, try to keep your hands not too high. When you do the throw, you don't want to pull your hand up too much, and whenever you pull the hand up, you want to kind of bring it back down. Keep it kind of relaxed. The lower the hands are, the longer you have on the ball drop to react and plan how you're going to catch it. The higher you are, the more limited your movements are, the more awkward and stiff it feels. So try to stay relaxed and keep the hands at about hip height. And my recommendation would be to practice 2 tosses like this for 5 minutes, maybe even 10 minutes, or however long it takes. But get to a point where you can very consistently catch both balls and you've got this kind of rhythm going on. That rhythm's important because, trust me, once you add in the 3rd toss and the 4th toss, everything's going to go to hell. So the smoother and more solid your first 2 tosses are, the more likely you are to be able to put the 3rd one in smoothly. And then this is where you actually start doing the trick. The 3rd toss, it's just like the 2nd toss, except where you throw the 2nd one where the ball peaks in front of your left eye. You're going to throw this 3rd ball when the ball from your left hand peaks here. And it's going to be difficult for you because you're going to have to think, you're going to overthink this, and you're going to be thinking about throwing and then catching, and it's going to freak you out. You're going to get all anxious. Don't worry about it. That's natural. And so that 3rd toss is probably, you're going to hesitate. You're going to be following the 2nd ball, and then you're going to suddenly realize, oh wait, I need to think about my right arm to toss. And you're going to freeze for a second, and then you're going to toss, and you're barely going to have enough time to catch the 2nd ball. And because of that, you're going to throw this you're going to throw this ball really far. It's going to be really, you might throw it forward. That's the worst. If you throw it too high or too far to the side, you can still catch it. But when you throw the balls too far forwards, that's when you've got to take a step, and if you're, the ball's going to hit the ground, knock something over, roll around. So try to make sure that you're throwing sideways and not. Try to keep that axis out of it. Okay, so third toss, peek, 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 peek. Okay, and I would say practice that twice as long as you practiced just doing 2 balls. Give it 20 or 30 minutes of practicing this until you can consistently catch the third ball. Doesn't matter if it's, doesn't matter if it's shaky. Just get to a point where you can consistently catch that third ball. Even better if you can do it without having to step or move your body too much. And then once you've got that, take a break. Don't burn yourself out on the most basic trick in juggling. Despite the fact that it's quite basic, I don't know, you can learn some of the intermediate tricks pretty quickly once you just get a feel for the rhythm and flow of juggling. But when you haven't done it at all, it can feel like you get blocked pretty early on, and it can be frustrating. So don't burn yourself out. Get to the point where you can do 3 tosses and catch them consistently, and then go do something else for half an hour, for an hour, for the rest of the day, and come back later. The next time that you practice, spend 30 or 40 minutes trying to get the 4th toss. And just like the 3rd toss, when the 3rd ball from your right hand peaks right there, that's when you're going to throw from the left hand. And again, you're going to hear bump, 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 the same way you used to hear. Now, bump, 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 bump. I'm kind of picky about that because I played a lot of rhythm games like DDR and Guitar Hero before I got into juggling, so the rhythm and pace is part of what helped me learn the trick. So if you're having a hard time with the visual component of throwing when the ball peaks, then pay attention also to the rhythm. Okay? And the 4th toss, that's going to cause you a lot of problems. If you thought the 3rd toss was difficult, that 4th toss, I almost guarantee you, it's going to be flying in all sorts of directions. You're going to be really shaky and really awkward when you go to do it. That's okay. Drill it for 20 or 30 minutes until you can pretty consistently catch the 4th ball, even if, it's weird. Now that I have the trick, it's hard for me to intentionally screw it up, but get to a point where you can catch 4. And then again, take a break and come back again. Ideally, if you want to get to a point where you feel like you have the trick in one day, which is kind of ambitious, it might take you 2 or 3 hours. So spend 30 to 45 minutes 3 times, that's my suggestion. Once you can get 5 and 6 tosses, you pretty much have the trick. Nice thing about the 5th toss is it comes from your dominant hand. Of course, the difficult part about it is that it comes after the 4th toss, which is from your non-dominant hand, and it goes everywhere and you're all over the place. Once you get to the point where you can do this, or 6 balls, you pretty much have the trick. And even if it's not super smooth, even if you can't do, 20, if you can just do 6, that's okay. Once you can get 5 or 6, take a break, and come back the next day. And that next day, once you can get to the point where you can do 6 tosses, somewhere with like 30 minutes or an hour of practice doing 6 tosses, you're just suddenly going to do 7, and then the next time you're going to do 9, and then the next time you're going to do 13, and somewhere over the next 2 hours you're going to get to a point where you pretty much have it, and you can just loop it, and then you have the trick. And I would say all in all, if you have no exposure to juggling, as long as you have done some sort of physical coordination exercise, if you've done martial arts or skateboarding or snowboarding or basketball, soccer, anything, if you have any coordination in you, I think it should only take you 3 or 4 hours to go from this to maybe 8 or 9 tosses. And then after that, you really can just pull your 3 balls out of your backpack during a break and spend 10 to 15 minutes practicing. And you do that a couple days, and pretty soon it's going to be second nature for you to do 3 ball cascades. What I do, or what I did, is there's 7-Elevens on every street corner in Taipei, so between classes, maybe in my classroom, I do this. Or even if I was going to go get a snack, I'd get in the elevator, go downstairs, and then walk to 7-Eleven doing this. And of course you look silly, especially since it's a pretty beginner trick, but I don't care, and neither should you. If you're practicing and you're getting better at something, who cares? Get used to the fact that if you're learning any activity, you're going to make mistakes and you're going to look weird as a beginner doing it. That's part of the point of doing the activity, is building confidence. Some of building confidence involves being willing to take the risk of looking like a moron for a little bit in order to get to the point where you look like a pro. And that's true for everything. And that's part of the character building of juggling. Anyways, practice this, foundational for a whole bunch of other moves. Get to a point where you can do it without thinking, and it becomes something that you can practice kind of as a second nature. Maybe you can, I know it sounds weird, maybe you can listen to an audiobook or listen to music or watch TV. The kind of TV show where you don't really have to watch it, you can just listen and just do this. You can do it sitting on the couch, walking to the store, wherever. Anyways, good luck.